Hey, everybody, welcome back to the Processing Podcast. Another week, another episode. Back with the one and only Pastor Zeus Vital. What's up, dude?
It's good to be here, man.
You okay with that type of intro, that energy on the intro?
I think you could have had more, but no, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding.
Bro.
No. This is, I'm happy to be back. It's good to be here. Thanks for the invite.
You and Dave Olson, who was on last week.
Correct.
You and Dave, you guys were on an episode, right, a while back?
Yeah, and honestly, for a while, I was kind of like convinced maybe I wasn't going to be invited back because of my hot take back in early August.
What was the hot take?
That Sweet Martha's cookies are overrated.
I agreed with you. I wasn't on the episode with you guys.
Yeah.
But I think the next weekend I agreed with you.
No, I'm still catching flack for it. Like one of my small group guys that comes from small groups, like, hey, I don't know if I can forgive you.
You want to call him out by name?
Yeah, Dylan Akins, this is for you.
All right, good. Well, you are correct that they're overrated. So I don't want to hurt the business, but what's my voice going to do? I don't know.
Yeah. Anyhow, it's gone.
Hey, I did want to make this announcement also. Now that you're back, we are in the vest crew, bro.
Vest bros.
We both walked in today just rocking vests, dude. I think honestly, vests are making a comeback. Because people want the warmth. For their core, but
you want to be able to move
their arms. Yeah, like keep the arms loose.
Well, this is shout out to all the finance bros. The Wall Street bros. They rock vests all the time, and so
actually, do you see this? You see the trend right now. Everybody's getting out of their Nike, and what they're moving to?
What's that?
Quarter zips. Have you seen this trend?
Well,
everybody's moving to the old quarter zip.
No, but here's the thing. I don't know that was a trend because I love myself a quarter zip. I really do.
I'm telling you, it's an absolute trend right now. There are teenagers going to high school in quarter zips with button ups and ties on under the quarter zip. They're going next level.
I feel like that's very PJ Fleck, row the boat, Sky Ma.
I think so.
Minnesota Gopher thing.
I actually saw a Gary V take on like what he thinks an upcoming trend is, and it was before the quarter zip thing started to happen. He was like, I think the next generation is gonna swing back and go more formal.
Dress it up.
Where millennials have gone like super casual, like this hyper casual culture, it's gonna swing back more formal. And is a vest, Ellie? I'm looking at Ellie over here. Ellie is also wearing a vest off camera.
I
can attest.
And she also has a microphone. Test one too.
You can hear me, finally.
Everybody, that's what your voice sounds like? Just give them another.
Hello, this is Ellie.
Oh, she's on the podcast.
She's locked in now.
If you didn't know, obviously we got Chris and Will helping produce this thing, and then Ellie's our live searcher. So now if we ask you a question, you can actually respond.
You can hear me.
And you're rocking a vest.
I am.
So do you agree? It's like is a vest formal?
Well, the vest you're wearing, maybe. This feels a little different.
The vest I'm wearing is like for hunting, I feel
You've got like a puffer vest. Like, dude, that's for warmth.
There's birds in here.
That's like workwear, hunting wear.
Yeah.
I mean, that looks very casual.
This is Vans. This is not like, I'm not trying to be warm. It's Vans. Vans is very street style.
No, I'm insulating. Yeah. Like, man, I'm cold, dude.
Yeah. Can I tell you, I feel overweight in a quarter zip or a vest. Yeah. And I might be a little bit, but we're just...
I feel that way. I'm going to take mine off.
I'm taking mine off. Hang on. Okay. Is this better? Is this better?
Have we slimmed up a little bit?
Ellie's like, what am I even supposed to say to that?
Yeah.
You blended with your chair. Millennial Gen Z. Okay, since we're talking about generations, can we put up the stat? I sent you this. Benny Johnson posted it. The younger generation, this is a new stat. I think this is incredible if it's true, because, he's just putting it out there. The younger generation right now is more religiously affiliated or more religious than their parents. And so you've got Gen X, millennials, Gen Z. And so Gen Z would be the children to Gen X, primarily, generally. The belief in God, Gen Z right now is 45% belief in God. Gen X would be 33%. Church attendance in Gen Z is 24%, where their parents is 22%. He wrote, "It's a Christmas miracle." Zeus, any comments on that?
Well, I'd love to see where this is all coming from, right? So when it says belief in God, is this like Christian God, or is
which
this
God?
just higher, like a higher being? And
But then he says church attendance, which
yeah, because again, you look at that like, okay, so you go from 33 to 45%, but then church attendance is actually lagging quite a bit, going from 22 to 24. Right. So
yeah, you're really breaking down the data here.
Well, and that's what I'm saying. It's like, if it's back quite a bit, like I'm asking the question, like, why is that? Is it this conversation that I've seen a lot, even on social media, where people will say, it's like, you know what? I believe in God, but maybe the whole organized religion part is sort of a harder hurdle for them to cross. And so what does that look like? And so I'm just, again, maybe it's my millennial perspective where I'm a little more skeptical. I'm not saying it's not happening, but I have questions.
Yeah. I'm going to assume it is happening only because of all the other anecdotal data that we have, not only in our own church, but really since the assassination of Charlie Kirk. We've had a lot of conversations around this. That is the general sense across our nation.
I would agree with that.
There's a younger generation that is more religious, and let's say maybe more like belief in what God. So that's true.
Yep.
But within Christianity, there is this upswing. Again, it's just my own experience. I've not spent a lot of time on TikTok, but as I've scrolled on there for the few moments I have, I see tons of young people live on TikTok. They're streaming live, and they're either doing two things: Fortnite, and this is just generally, they're either streaming Fortnite, they're playing Fortnite, or they're literally reading the Bible.
Yeah,
and they're talking about reading the Bible. I'm like, look at all these like young streamers just reading the Bible and chatting with people that are commenting.
Well, I feel like a lot of the commentary, to your point, that I've seen a lot on social media is actually a huge swing towards younger people commenting on the Bible or scripture, or honestly on just things, all things spirituality. And so I think if you were to put that together, I could see how this all makes sense.
Another thing that's a little bit attached to this, I think, just like the movement that's happening in our country, is the shift. We had a few years where it felt like every day something LGBTQ was like being shoved in your face, as like we are going to make sure this agenda comes across, and that it's going to saturate all of culture. And I just saw this article, and I do know it's from the Wrap, and I don't know how reputable
this yesterday
it is,
too.
but it was being shared. It says this: nearly half of all the LGBTQ plus characters will disappear from TV next season. A GLAAD study. So I don't know. GLAAD is some organization that oversees or gives awards or TV series. Let's look it up. What is GLAAD? Can you read that, Ellie?
Yeah, it says Gay and Lesbian Alliance Against Defamation. It's a prominent LGBTQ media advocacy organization that works to ensure fair, accurate, and inclusive representation of LGBTQ people and issues in media, promoting acceptance through storytelling.
Got it. It's the people who are for care.
That makes this a lot more interesting.
Yeah, they're the ones saying it. Hey, next season we're taking out. What's the percentage? Go back to the stat. 61% of trans characters will be absent from TV to the previous season. As a Christ follower and as a parent, I celebrate this stat and this trend. And to me, that matches the Gen Z, Gen X thing that we just said. Like there is a pendulum swinging.
I agree.
And we see it in our church attendance as well.
No, I think we definitely see it with the church attendance, but I think I see it as a parent myself too, because there's a lot of shows, like just trying to be a vigilant parent, where I've had to like sort of screen these things to be like, is that a conversation I want to bring my child into right now?
Yeah.
And is this something that I want them obviously taken in? And so I'm assuming that based off of this, we're not the minority on this anymore. Like, I think there's parents who are like, hey, I want to, regardless of where you stand on that issue, they're saying, hey, I want to be able to make that decision. And I think, and have that conversation as opposed to someone else doing that through pop culture, movies, cartoons, series, whatever.
Yeah,
it may be.
especially young kids. It's like I don't need my 3-year-old to find out from Paw Patrol what non-binary is referencing.
Exactly.
And which is crazy. So I'm happy. More people are going to church. More young people are going to church, and TV is going to be a little bit safer for the next generation. Again, from my perspective as a Christ follower, as a pastor, as a parent, I love these trends, and praying it continues. There was some local news that happened as we're recording this in the area that you're pastoring, actually, Prior Lake.
Yeah.
Do you want to give the news?
Yeah. So I got a text this morning from one of our attenders, and she had mentioned to me that there was a mosque that burnt down overnight there in Prior Lake. And so pretty interesting considering, everything that's going on in the news right now. And so as of this point, there's no motive or cause. Obviously, it just happened. But because it is a place of worship, whether it had been a mosque, a church, or a synagogue, it will include a federal investigation. Basically, what they're trying to rule out is that there's no foul play.
Yeah.
Worst case scenario, a hate crime. And so that's been the biggest thing. And so one of the things that I've really been focusing on some of the people I've sent it out to is just say, hey, be praying for our community. Obviously, as I have a belief and a thought as to who is the one true God. But again, you don't want to see hate crimes occur.
Yep. As a Christ follower, but also, and this is a Christian perspective, the freedom of religion. We are not for hate crimes, and so I definitely hope that that's not the case.
Right.
As a for lack of a better term, a chicken farmer. Not actually farmer. I don't even know what you call it. As a person who has chickens,
a keeper,
dude, we have accidentally burnt down one of our chicken coops. We've talked about it on the podcast.
I've heard about
back.
this. Yes.
Oh yeah, dude. Our chicken coop went up in flames.
Wasn't that like there was another in the fire, kind of like?
Dude, yeah. So we did have 3 chickens at the time, and all of them got out. So no, there wasn't a 4th chicken in the fire.
Okay, no, Shadrach.
I think that but that's a good joke. All the chickens got out; they were safe. A couple of them singed a little bit, and traumatized, I would say. So they were afraid, but we had like a heat lamp in there, and this is the classic, chicken coop burn down story, I guess. And you've seen it happen before, but we had a heat lamp in there that fell into like the bedding.
Sure.
And you try to keep them warm in the winter. They're actually like dinosaurs. I mean, they can withstand -10, no problem. I mean, the chickens are just walking outside, just
hanging out,
no big deal. Wow. And anyways, we were trying to keep them warm and burn down our chicken coop. So with this mosque situation, I hope it's not foul play. I hope it's not a hate crime. But it literally could be a space heater. It could be something. And I'm not saying that's what happened. I don't want this to age poorly. I'm just saying, in the winter in Minnesota, when we literally have had -10 in the last few days, you're trying to keep buildings up to par. It was a school too, right?
Yeah, it was a school. So it's a mosque with a school in it. Yep.
So just commenting on this, we hope, we know nobody was in the building, right?
But nobody was hurt. Nobody was in the building.
Nobody was hurt. Nobody's injured. And that's a good thing. And it's I guess it's kind of a side, it's like a joke, I guess, but it's true. They don't have their place of worship. River Valley Church is a place of worship, and
worship Jesus.
We would love for you to come to River Valley and experience the gospel message. The greatest story ever told, Jesus coming from heaven to earth, living a perfect life, paying for all of our sin. He is the one true God. And so, yeah, I don't know if our church will have any type of other response as far as like just helping that community.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of times we've been at, talking about LGBTQ, we've been at, downtown Minneapolis where we've served waters at
Right.
different like pride parade things. Like we're trying to love people that are far from God,
Be a neighbor.
that you're trying to be a good neighbor, to have a winsome approach,
Right.
Versus a, Bible thumping or beat you over the head approach.
Yep.
To like, hey, come.
Yeah, yeah. And for me as a pastor, I've certainly, obviously, this is in the community that I get to pastor and have the opportunity to do that. And so I've been, reaching out to a few community leaders, just trying to find out a little bit more and to see if there are opportunities, to your point, Pastor Kirk, where hopefully we can be a resource and, a place of a refuge, but again, also a place of light and truth. And so I think at this point, it's just kind of also waiting to see what ends up happening. I was talking to a friend of mine, firefighter, and he's like, it could take upwards of a couple weeks to really find out what really actually happened. And so, but because, like you said, it's a place of worship, it's going to be, they're going to take a comb to it, make sure that they rule out any foul play and other things there.
It is really interesting, just biblically, because this, if it becomes more of a topic of conversation. I know last week they talked about fraud in Minnesota. I know, the topic of Somalis in America, Somalis specifically in Minneapolis, has been talked about, which I don't know that we need to get into. But if they talk about, if this is like an angle of like the media is going to take, like, see now the Muslim community is being attacked or something like that, I just think that could be fuel to a fire that is totally unnecessary.
Well, and that was the other thing is I was talking to another friend of mine who's a prominent local politician, and he's a state representative, and I was just like, he and I were texting about it this morning, and I'm like, you know what, considering everything that is going on, current events, the news, that we can rule out that it would be anything malicious, right? And that it was, and we had a conversation prior to this. It's like that it was either an accident or an act of God. And you're like, well, wait a second, what's act of God? No, I think insurance-wise, they use that as a phrase where it's like
They do.
like if it was nature, lightning strike or something like that. And so hopefully it was either like just an accident, a space heater kind of put in the wrong spot, or something else that is not malicious. I hope not. I was thinking, there are moments. The podcast is also not just current events, but it's like theologically, is there any grounds for foul play? And you do see like Gideon goes and at night destroys Asherah poles and altars set up for Baal, and you're like, okay, is that a good thing or not a good thing? And what do we believe? What do we believe? Like, oh, it's just Islam is just like a friendly, nice religion, and they do a lot of good, and it's a good community. No, It's not.
we love the people.
Yep.
But that religion is false and demonic and
Correct.
evil.
Correct.
But we love the people. And therefore, I would say we are not for foul play, especially when it comes to like a fire that could, if you had, it's a school. It's like a kid, I know it's at night, but it's like a kid could be in there. Like, we don't do that. And even if not, we're not burning places down.
No.
We're not going to do that. And then you even have the example in the Old Testament where God himself knocks over this statue of Dagon, this false god or demonic god. I mean, God is knocking it over. And to me, It's like you said, act of God earlier. I think we need to pray for lost people. We need to be winsome. We need to preach the truth. We need to tell the truth to Christ followers, to know what is good and what is evil, and not to befriend evil, and allow, hey, God, you do what you're going to do. And I'm not saying God is going to, strike lightning on these places. Saying God convict people of their sin and draw them to yourself.
And I think that's a good point. And that's exactly what I was just thinking. I was like, I think God will do what only he can do. And whatever that may be, it's with the intentions, like hopefully drawing people away from deception, right?
Yep.
Away from the things that are going to lead you to sin, away from the things that are going to lead you to hell. And ultimately with the idea like, hey, let me draw you back. Let me bring your attention back to where truth is, right? When the Bible says, I am the way, I am the truth, I am the life. He's not saying I am one of the ways. It's like, no, I am the way, right? When Jesus is saying that. And so, I think, do we know why and how? No. Well, we might find out from a few of those things, maybe. But either way, like at the end of the day, I'm like, man, it's Jesus, you know, and Islam believes that there is another God. There is no other God, so.
Exactly. Yeah, there is no other God. And while I brought up Somali community, immigrants that have come from another country here to America, you see there are a lot of people. I even saw, again, this is potentially conspiracy or coincidence, but a lot of people don't like the new Minnesota flag. And then they put side by side
of the Somali flag,
the progression of the Somali flag.
Yep.
And it's like, it's pretty similar. Like there's the same colors and they both have a star.
Yep.
And a lot of people are upset about, moving away from the old Minnesota flag. The point that I'm bringing up is not so much about the flag, but it's people that come from another country to America. The assumption is to pursue whatever's called the American dream. But they wave their former country's flag in a way of like, I'm not going to assimilate to America.
Right.
We're bringing our culture from another country to America. And so, do you have the flag just real quickly? One of them is
so
this
that's a
is the
Somali flag.
Somali flag is just blue with a star, and then there's the
Minnesota.
I mean, you got to say there's some grounds to there's a little bit of similarity, but I also, if you just think about Minnesota, again, Minnesota's north, it's cold, it's snow, it's glacial, it's Icelandic, it's
Big
like
blue.
So blue.
Yep.
And I do know the narrative of Minnesota was like, we want to own the North. And so that's
North
to
Star.
symbolize the North Star. So,
well, you also notice too, like it looks like a K, so it's supposed to symbolize to the shape of Minnesota.
yeah, the Minnesota shape. So okay, but it does have some similarity to
it does, yeah.
the
Yeah,
progression of
if
the
you're
Somali
into conspiracies and you wanna look into it, you're like, I could see how someone would get there, right? And
okay, but Zeus, you are an immigrant.
yeah, I am. Naturalized citizen.
And so I could talk about this all day. I was born in Bismarck, North Dakota. And so I don't know if you have thoughts to this, coming from Mexico.
Yeah.
What's your thoughts as an immigrant? I mean, I guess we could even go further into like there are ICE raids happening, FBI raids, there's
right here in
flights
our
going on at
communities.
MSP.
Yep.
And so I'm not trying to platform you or put pressure on you to be the expert, but you have a perspective.
Yeah, I do. So, I mean, I've had family who've entered the country illegally. I've had family who have been deported, not even just recently, but like previous administrations, right? So, this is a world that is I'm all too familiar with, and it's been an interesting place to be, right? Because I'm a person who I really do. I love this country. I mean, this country has afforded not only myself, but my wife, my kids, but my parents, my siblings, opportunities that we would have never have gotten had we been back in Mexico, right? And so we owe a debt to this country. And when people try to say, like America is this, America is that, I'm like, man, you've not lived in another country, or you've not experienced some of the heartache. And is America perfect? No. Are there challenges? Of course there are. But man, let me tell you, this is a great country to be in. And so kind of going back to it, just a little bit about my story, and I'll kind of begin to hit a little bit on more of your question there on just the ICE raids and where I'm at. But so like I said, I did immigrate into this country when I was young. So I came over, and while I was in this country, received my permanent residency and my citizenship. And so I grew up in the Midwest. My parents.
Proud to be an American?
Yes, I am. Proud
All
to be
right,
American.
let's go.
And so I came over, and a Midwest boy, grew up in southwestern Kansas. My parents blue collar meat packers, and then moved up to the inner city for my teenage years in Milwaukee, and then now I've been up here. And so I'm a Midwest boy through and through. And
Bro, Milwaukee and meat packer, bro, and you're a Packer fan.
I mean, it's appropriate.
Oh, dude.
It's meant to be. But anyhow, so obviously this whole conversation is near and dear to me because of my background, because of my family. And so when you look at the whole context of everything that is going on, I think sometimes people are very surprised by my take, because normally people would look at me and maybe attribute me to some sort of like box that I fit in.
Yeah.
However, I am a believer that there needs to be checks and balances, right? In order to be a country and be a sovereign country, you got to be able to have borders so that you can control who is able to come in, and are these people who want to genuinely contribute not only to the American dream, but also the people that just really want to contribute to the country and the greater whole, and not only in their life, but really the rest of the people in society. And I think some of the things we're starting to see right now, and we have been seeing, it's not like it's new, but I think the previous administration had a very different strategy when it came to immigration, wide open, almost.
Yeah, wide open.
And so I think there's been a sort of pendulum swing and a correction that needed to take place. And I think we're seeing that. And I think the hard conversations come is when there's an ICE raid and there's a father or something. Now, at the end of the day, if you did something illegal, and now coming into the country is illegal. You've broken a law. That's what it is. Like you've broken it all. But if you've done other things as well, a lot of the things that we're hearing about is like someone who did harm to children, right? Like sexual abuse or physical abuse and stuff like that, or other criminals that have maybe contributed to drugs and all that stuff. Of course, we need to do everything we can to remove these individuals, either put them in some sort of prison or whatever to, be held accountable, or be sent back to their country, because unfortunately too, you're not going to be able to house everybody. And so this whole layer of immigration, ICE raids, it's so layered because there's so many pieces to it. But at the end of the day, to be a sovereign country, you got to have some borders, and you got to have checks and balances. Otherwise, it's going to be rampant. I can't even say it.
Yeah.
And at one point, you're going to lose control. And I think there's a reason why this country has been a sought after place, and it's been because it has been different from other places. And so if we can do anything we can to protect that,
yeah,
you better bet we should.
How do you balance you and Tasha, and she's Hispanic?
Yep.
How do you guys balance heritage, Hispanic heritage, while being proud Americans?
Yeah.
Like do you teach them Spanish? Do you little Taco Tuesday?
Man, well,
you and I joke about this off episode, dude. And by the way, Ellie, you got to look up Leonardo DiCaprio's Mexican Whistle, and we'll play that clip in a second.
I don't think I know what this is.
Dude,
okay,
it's sick. Yeah.
Okay, so really quick, really fun story on Taco Tuesday, real quick. So years ago, when my wife and I first got married, and I remember I was going to Apple Valley, one of our campuses, one day, and it must have been like a conference or something, because I was going there for the second day. And she's like, "Hey, what are you gonna do for dinner?" He's like, "Oh, I think I'm gonna stop by this taco place here in Richfield." She's like, "Tacos again?" I'm like, what do you mean? Like, I grew up eating tacos my whole life. Like, that was just standard. Like, it's not tacos again. It's like, man, I love having this.
Tacos, yeah.
So anyhow, how do we?
It's like in our house is like you would never say ground beef again. Like we're doing ground beef, and we'll do it different ways. But it's like we've thought a pound of ground beef. That's what we're having for dinner.
Exactly. No. So for us, how do we handle that? Well, it's an interesting conversation, because this was a thing that I struggled with for a while when I was younger, maybe even as of 10 years ago. But honestly, we really try to do is we try to keep to some traditions,
Yep.
Mexican traditions, and do everything we can to try to teach them Spanish. I don't think I'm doing a good enough job because my parents are like, hey, you need to do better. But at the same time, you know, everything from like calling my parents almost on a daily basis, if not just every other day, and allowing my kids to hear Spanish, right? And even just recently, my sister got married a couple months ago, and just, you know, it was somewhat of a traditional Mexican marriage. And so it was really cool to take my kids back there and have them experience that. And so, I mean, I grew up in a very, very traditional Mexican home, to the point where my wife, who's from San Diego, like she didn't know how Mexican I was. So what am I explain? Let me explain that.
Oh yeah.
So she, you know, she's from San Diego, so she's half Mexican, but her biological dad left when she was young, and so she was raised by her mom, who's white, from Superior, Wisconsin, and then her stepdad, who's also white, from Illinois. You know, naval man, but they're out there in San Diego. Anyhow, I was trying to, when I was dating my wife Tasha, I was trying to gear her up. I'm like, by the way, you're coming home with me for Thanksgiving. Like, I mean, we're Mexican. She's like, I mean, I'm from San Diego. I get it. So anyhow, we go back. She comes back. She's like, oh yeah, you're right. You guys are really Mexican. And what that means is just like, you know, we're loud, we're colorful, we're passionate. You know, there's music going on. I mean, the party doesn't stop until 2:00 in the morning. You know, like, we're just hanging, we're having a fun time. And so for us, for my kids, even though we don't have that same proximity that maybe I used to when I was growing up, we try to get as much as we can our kids around that, right? So even as simple as calling my parents or making a traditional Mexican meal.
Yeah. I grew up knowing my great grandparents full Norwegian. They taught me a couple Norwegian phrases. We ate lefse. You know, there's parts of that I'm proud of.
Too?
Like, I never did lutefisk.
Is that how you say lutefisk?
Yeah, lutefisk.
Lutefisk.
Yeah. Never did that. But they would pray. They would pray for the meal, the family meal, in Norwegian. And it's like, there's parts
cool,
of that where it's like, yeah, man, that's heritage,
right?
You know, and also raised, you know, I'm an American, you know,
right?
And so, yeah, what's the right amount of assimilation, you know, while also carrying the heritage of like where your descendants are from?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, like 4th of July, like, I'm teaching my kids about like what it means and why this country is special. I mean, my wife gave me a hard time because I was like, I want my kids to really understand the sacrifice, right? So I probably did. I did something I should have never have done, or maybe done until they were grown up. But I had them watch the opening scene of Saving Private Ryan.
Okay.
And if you ever know what I mean, there's guts, there's gores. I mean, it really is. It's a stormy.
It's a war movie. Yeah.
It's a war movie, right? And but I mean, it's gory. And my kids were just like this. I'm like, and that, kids, is sacrifice. That's why, you know, this country is great. You know, and my wife is like, you really did that? I'm like, yeah, I did. And I was like, but listen, they know. But that's the thing. Yeah. It's like, I hold between that tension. I'm like, how do I teach my kids the tradition and my heritage, while at the same time embracing to its full what this country means to all of us, but also even to me specifically. Like, you know, one thing that I'm really passionate about is like, you know, like, this country was built really on heart and dream of ambition of giving yourself a better life, right? Freedom of religion, all these other things. And I want my kids to never take advantage of that, but rather always to value it, to love it, and to be like, man, like, I want to be able to do the things that maybe my grandma, grandpa weren't able to do when they first immigrated, but now I get to live out some of these incredible opportunities maybe they didn't have before. Well, I'm the first person in my family to like even graduate college. Yeah. So like that was a big deal for us.
Well, I think you are describing, I think, some key differences between kind of how you're raising your kids and how to think about this place that we call our home and their nationality, being an American, different than there are others that go, hey, this country that we're in is horrible, and where we're from is way better, and we need to make this place like where we're from, and no need to learn English or no, you know. And to me, I just think, there's a big gap. And you're right. It can be a spectrum, like carrying heritage or cheering for, the Mexican soccer team.
Oh yeah.
Or,
World Cup's coming up. Yeah.
Exactly.
I'm going to be watching that. Yeah.
Exactly. So I think that's all good. Okay. Can we play this? It's the one on the left.
This one?
Yeah. I don't know what the meme says above it, but listen to this.
¿Para dónde una troca negra? Una más pequeño señorita, malo hombre. Pasó para allá. Para allá. No para allá. Para allá, para la derecha. Gracias.
All right, that's it. Okay, Zeus, first of all, what did he say? What were they saying?
Well, they're looking for someone, and so he's frantic. He's like, where is this certain person? And so the guy then ultimately is like, hey, he went that way. And
went that way.
And then he did the little whistle.
Okay, but what is that?
It's just like, it's basically cool, got it, or let's go. Like the thing about Spanish, and I don't know if this is the same thing about,
people online are like, yo, Leonardo did it, bro. Like,
oh yeah,
he got the whistle down.
I've heard that whistle.
Oh,
like my dad.
I've heard it.
My dad calling us home. I'm not even gonna try to do it. But
dude, it was so solid. I've heard that. I've been at a.
Will, can you do the whistle? Will doesn't have a mic, but I was just wondering, like, Will's got some heritage to him. Yeah, the grito. Oh yeah, the grito. That's another big thing.
Yeah, we got to get Will on here too. Just get another mic. Let's go.
Yeah.
No, awesome. I wanted everybody to experience the Mexican whistle from Leonardo DiCaprio. No, that's good. Good combo. Zeus, I did want to say this too because it's coming up. Merry Christmas, bro.
It's coming.
And you have a pretty powerful story about salvation. As we get closer, obviously people in our church are listening to this. You want to share your testimony and why the invite matters?
Yeah, I mean, something I tell our Shakopee campus all the time. I'm like, hey, make sure you utilize that Christmas invite. Not necessarily just the paper, for sure, use it, but like, make sure you invite someone to Christmas. I mean, I'm the product of a Christmas invite. And so just to kind of go back to my story. So I grew up in a religious home. Excuse me, not in a religious home, but I grew up Catholic, but mostly by tradition, not by practice, right? Mm-hmm. So not really religious in the sense of like we're devoted to it, we're following it. Every once in a while, maybe you went to church. And so it was later on in life when I was 19 years old, I was in college. Actually, I had just gotten kicked out. Like I basically flunked out back in Milwaukee. Just was not prioritizing school by any means. And what ended up happening was I was sort of like lost and I was looking for purpose. And there was just a lot of things in life that wasn't going well for me. And it was right around Christmas, I got invited by a friend to something like the Christmas Spectacular, which we just wrapped up.
Yep.
Amazing thing that our church does. Matter of fact, when we first kicked it off a few years ago, I was really excited about it because I'm like, hey, that was my introduction to come into a church. And so anyhow, so back in Milwaukee, I get invited to a church, and I grew up with the huge like loyalty trait. And so if my friend needs me to be somewhere, I want to be there for that friend. And so this person's like, hey, would you come out? I'm in this Christmas program at our church, big church. And do you want to come out? And I'm like, yeah, people like me don't come to church, but you know what? I guess it's Christmas. Like, sure, why not? I'll just go. I'll sneak in, sneak out. Well, it ended up being like that was like my first encounter towards a like life-giving church. Yep. And seeing passionate worship. Like, because again, yeah, you did the Christmas carols, but there was like worship that happened, and I'm like, man, this is infectious in a good way, right? And it kind of left me with sort of this intrigue and curiosity, but it wasn't like all of a sudden like pastor goes up there at the end of that service and then, does a salvation call. I wasn't ready at that point, but that was my introduction. Like that was my foot in the door. But there was an invitation to come back to church and come back for Christmas services. And so for the next 5 weeks, I did, man. I was in church every single Sunday. And I'm slowly internalizing everything that the pastor's talking about and saying. And I'm like, okay, I'm applying these things now in my life. I'm looking at things differently. I'm thinking differently. And I'm starting to see some fruit in this.
Yep.
But I still have not received Jesus. So Christmas Eve comes, the services, still don't give my life to Jesus. It took me about 5-6 weeks, January 14th of 2007, where it was a Sunday night service, pastors giving a plea for salvation. Anyone wants to receive Jesus. And I remember I said to myself, well, if God is real, I don't have all the questions. Matter of fact, I'm looking for a lot of answers right now. But I've seen some things now in my life that have changed. But if God is real, he'll meet me in this. And so here I am. I accepted the call. So I'm saying that other piece too as an encouragement. Like if you end up inviting someone to church and they come and they don't say yes to Jesus right away, like don't give up on that. Like that is still fertile ground. And it was really cool because it ended up being like Christmas was the vehicle that ended up getting me to church.
Yep.
And so, yeah, just an encouragement to anyone out there, whether it be Easter or Christmas, of course, like it's coming up now. Utilize that invite because you just never know whose life can be changed. And
yeah, I think practically just thinking through who are you in relationship with more than just like casually, but like you like know them.
Yep.
Maybe you hang out, maybe you work together, maybe they're in the neighborhood, and it's like you've gotten to know them. You've maybe shared a meal, you talk about work or whatever it is. Those are the people. If they don't have a home church, if they are not saved, those are the people you should give a like heartfelt, genuine invite to Christmas. Like, hey, our family would count it a privilege this Christmas to have you and your family come with us to a service. It's about 65 minutes.
Family service.
It's a family service. You get to stay with your kids.
Everybody, yep.
Your kids are going to leave with a gift. We've got chocolate bars. We're giving away, giving away to the kids. I think we're looking at maybe. I actually don't know. I don't want to. I don't want to leak it. I don't want to leak it, and I don't want to overpromise. But this is just for the parents. We might do Feastables. Chocolate bars, Mr. Beast brand. I'm not a huge Mr. Beast fan, but there are a lot of kids that like Feastables.
Yep.
Maybe more than the Hershey's. Anyways, I like.
I'm rubbing my hands because I'm excited.
He says ethically sourced, and they don't do child labor and all that. So, anyways, if we have Hershey's, my apologies, but it is.
What's the other one? Joyride, but they don't have chocolate.
I don't think they've
do chocolate.
Gone into chocolate, but so anyways. They're highly likely to say yes.
Right.
If you do heartfelt, it's more than a casual relationship. You know these people. You haven't just like met one time.
Right.
They are highly likely.
When you think about it, like,
and say yes.
Of course, the Christmas story is the story of Christ Jesus being born, and so. But again, Christmas and church are synonymous with each other, and so I think it's not so foreign for people to say, yeah, I'll come to church. I'll come check it out. Especially when you're like, hey, we would love it if you would come with us. We'll save you a couple seats. You come sit with us, so you don't have to do it alone. And so I think it's just it's synonymous with Christmas season. I mean, you look at even the Home Alones, like the first one, he goes to the church, and he's in. It's just like it's in us, right? And so it's not so foreign. It's not rare for someone to be in or to maybe take you up on that invitation.
Well, and think about it too, like, because we've talked about how many nominal Christians are there, like just people that they're Christian because they're like, I'm Catholic or I'm Lutheran or I'm a Christian, but there's nothing in their life that would prove it,
right? That's why I say, I was like, hey, are you this by tradition or by practice, right? Like there's something about practicing and living out your faith. And I think if you would ask a lot of people, especially here in America, like, hey, like what's your faith or whatever? Oh, I'm Christian.
Yeah.
But again, to what degree, not that there's degrees to it, but are you living out your faith?
Yeah. Give the nominal people a place to go. Like let them this is where we go. Come on through. It's going to be a blast. We sing the carols at River Valley. We do the candlelit silent night at the end. Like, that's magical.
That's one of my favorite things. I told my wife Tasha, because we bring up our kids and our family at the end. It's kind of like the last thing we do, the candlelight singing Silent Night. And so across the room, right, everybody's holding their candle. And I tell my wife, like, every single year, I'm just like blown away of just how beautiful that moment is. Like, we come up and we get to see the privilege of seeing the whole room filled up. But it also just like, I don't know, it's just symbolic too, with just how, you know, the light of Christ does shine in us, you know, and in a room like this, like we have basically, we didn't need any other light. We lit up the room, us being in here. And so, and I think it's continuous symbolic of the light that people can take with them as they go to their family's table, you know, loved one's home, wherever it is they go, like you carry that with you. So that's, it's a strong moment. And, it's beautiful.
I almost feel like our marketing team, we should just get some of the candlelight footage and put that out there on social media. Like, because if people go, oh yeah, that looks like a warm, awesome environment, I want to do that with my family, sing a couple carols and do the candlelight thing. I don't know. It's like maybe it stirs up some type of nostalgia or longing to like, I want to go. You know,
simple moments.
I'm trying to think through a nominal mindset, like pay my respects, or you know, want to get my kids in that environment. So, yeah, the invite is powerful. Zeus is a testimony that it makes a difference, and now you're serving as a pastor, bro. And leading 4 kids, right?
4 kids.
You guys went from 3 to 4, the big jump.
Yeah. I feel like there was a move there for a while with, a few of our campus pastors. We all have 4 kids,
dude.
And
let's populate the earth.
Yeah, be fruitful,
Ellie's pregnant.
multiply.
Sure am.
Whoa!
I panicked as I said that.
Congrats.
I panicked as I said it, thinking that it's not public. It's okay.
Oh, it's public.
Oh, it's public.
We're over halfway done.
Yeah, over halfway.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
When are you due?
March, end of March.
Okay, so you're getting closer and closer.
I know, it's kind of insane.
Yeah, no, we have 4 kids. Man, you know what's funny is like I have a hard time being dishonest, which I think is a good thing if you're a pastor.
Yeah.
But you know, for a while people would come and ask us.
Can you imagine? It's super easy for me to be dishonest.
But for a while, like people would come and be like, hey, you have 4 now. Like, how's it going? You know? And so I don't want to just say like, yeah, life is awesome. You know, like I still want to be able to share like, man, we're human. We're like, we're at times we're stumbling our way through this. But so here's my phrase. Okay. I say life is full, but life is sweet.
Yeah.
That makes sense. So like there are moments where like, man, we are overwhelmed. Tosh and I will look at each other and be like, what did we do? You know, having 4 kids, but it really is. It's a really special time for us. And, you know, we have 3 beautiful girls and our son, who's our 3rd one. And it is certainly full, but it's sweet.
Yeah. I believe this. If you have 1, there will be times you look at your spouse and go, whew, like it's a lot.
Yeah.
If you have 2, same thing. If you have 3, it's like, I don't know. The Lord just stretches you and gives you grace. And there'll always be moments, even if you're just married, there's times where it's like you're frustrated at each other, or, you know, as a single person, you're like, what am I doing with my life? I just think like, welcome to life.
Yes.
There are moments that are difficult and challenging. And there are other moments where it's like, dude, I was made for this. So,
and shout out really quick. I always love saying this too, by the way, but shout out any single parents out there who are doing the work though too. You know, single moms.
Yes, and we did
single
that
dads.
this weekend too.
I love that. One of my when you talk about
resource.
traditions, like honestly, that's probably one of my favorite traditions that we do as a church is doing those single.
Yeah,
parent
as we
gift
announced
cards.
Miracle Offering at River Valley, we raised over $3 million during our Miracle Offering, but we're like, this is also the weekend we want to give a Christmas gift.
Yep.
And it really, it's a gift card, but it's cold hard cash. It's like, here is a Christmas gift to make Christmas better for you and your family, to all the single parents.
Yeah, no questions asked. And really the only prerequisite is that you're a single parent of a dependent child. Right?
Yeah. I think because a few years we had some people in their 50s, 60s, 70s that they don't have kids in the home, and they were like, you mind if I snag a gift
I'll take
card?
one.
Yeah, it's really a blessing. You got little kids in the home, and it can help with some grocery money, help with some Christmas present money.
It's
all
awesome.
That. So
yeah,
100%. We love that our church can love on single parents.
What's your favorite Christmas tradition?
That's a good question. Something that the tradition that we don't carry on, but I reflect on positively. My family, we always went to a movie on Christmas Day.
On the 25th.
On the 25th, theaters were open, and we would go to a different movie. And
Do you have a favorite one that you remember distinctly?
I remember my dad falling asleep on Christmas Day at the movie Elf, and I still am just flabbergasted.
What year did Elf come out?
Yeah, let's look it up.
It feels like it wasn't too long ago, but I feel like.
Oh, yeah, I think it.
But if you're saying you went,
it might be 15 years.
2003.
22 years.
22 years ago.
That's crazy.
Isn't that crazy?
That is
so
crazy.
I was 8. Wait.
So your dad was falling asleep?
No, I'm 36. Sorry.
I was like, I don't think
how old was I? I
the
can't
math.
do the math. I literally can't do the math.
Dude, Doug was falling asleep.
I was
Pastor Doug.
14. Yeah, he fell asleep. He was out cold. So the movie that was the worst, we went to the movie War Horse, and that was just horrible.
I don't know that I've even.
It's just about a horse that dies in war. I mean, it's crazy.
Do you have a favorite?
I can't remember. It was just long and boring.
Do you have a favorite Christmas
Sorry.
movie?
Oh, my favorite Christmas movie of all time is The Santa Claus, Tim Allen.
Yeah. Okay. You were talking about this recently.
I'm
I
a
remember this.
huge Tim Allen fan, Home Improvement, all that. I think I've talked about it before. But I also love this movie. It's not usually people's favorite, but It's a Wonderful Life. And that we would watch that growing up every Christmas Eve. My dad will watch it, and I didn't like it as a kid. Because it's brutal to watch.
Yeah.
The whole movie is horrible.
Is it just because like it's a slow burn or just
At the end, the last 5 minutes is the payoff to all the pain that you've experienced watching this movie. And the payoff is so sweet. You guys have to watch it.
okay?
It's a Wonderful Life in black and white. You can get it colorized, all that. Will's saying no. It's just all right.
Will's
Dude,
not interested.
It's so good. If you invest, if you really invest, watch it. It's such a powerful movie.
No, I'm not. I know I'm not the host.
How about you?
but-
What's yours?
Well, I was gonna ask Ellie too. Like, what's her? I mean, she's got a mic now, so we got to test that out a little bit
Christmas
more.
movie or tradition?
Both. Go for
Yeah,
it.
hit us with both.
Tradition, I love that my parents still to this day get a real tree in their home. I walked in the other
Team
night
real
and it
tree.
was just
Never
like
did. I've never
living
done it.
room was dark, but the tree is lit. It like smells like pine and like that. I love going home in Christmas time because of that. And we would always go pick it out as a family.
Now, do you do a real Christmas
We
tree?
live in an apartment,
So you
so
can't,
no.
technically.
And we have cats, and I think that would go really poorly.
Sure.
All those things combined.
Yeah.
Movie, Elf, or the animated Grinch?
Animated Grinch.
The
is
animated
solid.
Grinch is so good. I would
Music's
watch that
good.
in
Yeah,
June.
You're right. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
It's so good.
It is
It's
so good.
solid.
Okay, so for me,
Yeah, Zeus.
well, I got a hot take one, and I don't think a lot of people agree with me here, but,
Yeah, but are you telling the truth?
yeah.
All right.
So one of my favorite, I got to watch it every Christmas season, and I think it is one of my favorite, if not outside of Home Alone. It would be Paul Blart Mall Cop, the first one.
That's a Christmas movie?
Okay, bro, I think it's both a Christmas and a Thanksgiving movie
Okay, yeah.
because it's Black Friday.
Yeah.
The mall is decorated for Christmas. And so even though they don't talk about it Christmas a ton, it's Christmas time. So it's kind of like the Die Hard Iron Man discussion that
Yeah,
people
yeah.
have. But I love that movie mostly because like me and my dad, there's still a little bit of a language barrier with him. He knows English.
Yeah.
But Spanish is his first one. Dude, my dad is rolling, like laughing. And so I just think it's like fun when I'm with my parents, we put that on and my kids love it. So Paul Blart Mall Cop, underrated movie.
Dude, I'm a huge Kevin James fan. And you see what he's doing on what he's doing on social media?
What's he doing?
Well, I mean, I think it's him. Type in Kevin James
On
art
Insta-
teacher.
Oh, okay.
He literally, it has to be him, guys. It has to be him. So he is pretending to be an art teacher named Matt Taylor. Yeah, I don't think you're gonna get a good clip. His whole there's a whole TikTok channel and Instagram
wait.
channel where he does artwork. He like makes art, but he's playing a character named Matt Taylor. He's like, hey everybody, Matt Taylor here, and then he gives like art advice, and everybody's like, it looks exactly like, it has to be Kevin James. Looks exactly like, here's the side-by-side picture.
I mean,
it is Kevin James.
That is him, yeah.
But he'll never
No
give it
question.
up. He'll never like say it's Kevin James. It's Matt Taylor, the art teacher. And he'll be like in an elementary school.
Right?
Yeah, like with next to lockers, and like he's got to like, that's what I'm
Yeah,
saying,
Mr.
dude.
Taylor.
It's like, what's he? That's what I'm saying, dude. It's like, what's he? How is he doing this?
Is that a set or is that?
That's what I'm saying.
No, that
there's
looks like
kids there, dude.
That looks like
that's
a
what I'm
legit thing.
saying. It's like, I think it's the most genius marketing,
bro. Can you imagine
of all time?
Can you imagine being the principal and the guy Kevin James shows up and be like, hey, so I got an idea.
Yeah, I know. That's literally what's happening, unless he has an identical twin.
No, that's him.
Doppelganger.
It's him.
I put my money. Oh, okay. So the other one, you asked tradition. Real quick, I'll answer that. Famous or favorite tradition for me would be what the year that we get to go see my in-laws in San Diego is waking up early Christmas morning, like first flight out, and that is going to San Diego, flying to San Diego with my kids. They're still in their Christmas pajamas. We make little care packages for like the flight attendants, the pilots. It's just my favorite thing. So, man, I love Christmas. I love that it's coming up, and man, it's almost here. So,
Merry Christmas. It's gonna be awesome. I think we got time for this. We're at 55 minutes. I want to play it mostly just to get it over with. It's a from my view, a disappointing take.
This is new.
From Kirk Cameron. And for the last at least 20 years, Kirk Cameron has been like the clean-cut, conservative Christian voice, voice of reason. I think there could be some dispute on if he was in the Left Behind series, like what's his take on end times, eschatology, and all that. But we don't have to get into that. It's this specific take on annihilationism.
Annihilationism. Yeah.
Basically, his take that for the non-believer, once you pass on from this earth, it's just over.
Like
There's
you cease.
No consciousness after death on this earth.
So I haven't watched the clip. It's 1:24, but is he saying, did you watch the whole thing?
Yeah.
So is he saying essentially there is no hell?
Yeah, let's watch the clip and then let's talk about it. That is essentially what he's saying.
Get down to it.
Yeah.
What's your opinion on this?
So my position, as it stands today, and again, the beauty of this is that we're always learning and growing, right? So I'm open to new light. If you guys have a position that you can share with me, I will gladly change my mind. I used to hold the position of conscious eternal torment because that's just what I was taught by people that I love and trust. I've learned that there are other positions, and a very robust argument can be made for conditionalism or annihilationism, as Edward Fudge posits here. And it fits the character of God, in my understanding, more than the conscious eternal torment position, because it brings in the mercy of God together with the justice of God. It doesn't leave judgment out. It is just, but it also fits with the Old Testament picture of the fate of the wicked, which is to be destroyed, it is to die, and it is to perish, not live forever in an eternal barbecue. And the classic verses that used to get me into eternal torment, the punishment, everlasting destruction, fits beautifully with a destruction, punishment, judgment that is irreversible and lasts forever. That is the eternalness of that punishment and that destruction. So that's where I am today.
Interesting.
So, I'll I guess respond as cool head as possible. That's his take. He says, he's like, I learned that there's other views, and I'll just say, of course, there are other views on everything. Like,
correct.
You can find the most out there insane belief about anything.
Yep.
Like, look, Kaylee just told me last night on pronouns. There's a new pronoun. You can now have the pronoun any and all.
Nope.
I'm just saying.
I don't
I'm
even know
just
what that
saying.
means. Yeah. What is it? Yeah.
Of course, there are other beliefs out there, and we refute this. We refute this. The Assemblies of God actually refutes it.
Yeah, I think you looked it up, right?
Well, in we have 16 fundamental truths. The 15th is final judgment. And we don't have to read this statement, but here's some of what we believe about death and death for the non-believer into eternity. And just at death, God's judgment of the guilty is a final judgment. There's no future salvation after casting into the lake of fire. Now is the day of salvation. That's why today there's an urgency for missions. There's an urgency for evangelism. There's an urgency to see lost people saved. Why? If they just close their eyes, our motivation is not purely just so that they spend eternity in heaven, just so that they can experience heaven for all eternity. No, it's so that they don't experience an eternal hell consciously. Judgment as justice and salvation, removing evil for creation's restoration. Hell as completion of the chosen absence from God. Part of eternity is eternal separation from God. Eternally conscious. I am separated from God. Number 2, the guilty are judged by their works in the absence of redemption. I'll just read these bullet points. Judged by works and absence from the book of life. You're not in the book of life.
Yep.
Rejection of God and actions lead to judgment, not just failure to hear the gospel. Number 3, the guilty share in the punishment of God's enemies. The lake of fire for devils and angels, fallen angels. Wicked share if following Satan. So they've rejected sin as rejection of God, like Satan's, no reconciliation for the unrepentant. And so we reject annihilationism. Punishment is eternal torment, not non-existence. I'll say it again. Punishment is eternal torment, not non-existence. Death in Hades is temporary. We refute that, and annihilationism, we refute that. Yeah. The punishment for the guilty will be everlasting, eternity as unending, parallel to eternal life.
Yeah,
so you've got eternal life. Everlasting. There will be eternal death, not non-existence.
Yep.
And eternal punishment as everlasting destruction and separation from God. We reject universalism. There's no post-death repentance. I think Erwin McManus had a take that kind of went viral.
Yeah, I've heard that.
And I don't know the full context of that conversation, but no post-death repentance. Humans can resist grace and they make their decision. Final judgment. I think it's such a dangerous, it is a dangerous thing to promote, and I think it is inaccurate.
Well, yeah, I think it definitely, it begins to soften it, right? And I don't know that, God is both equally just and he's equally love, yes, but again, I think it really begins to dilute the whole, the end, and certainly something we need to be very careful about, not trying to think more about it.
Yeah, scriptures on eternity as unending, parallel to eternal life. Daniel 12:2. I'm not going to read all these, but just for reference, Matthew 18 verse 8, 25 verse 41 and 46, Hebrews 6:2, and then all of Jude 7. Those are places to go to learn more about the eternity. And so we're a missions church. Like we love missions, especially the parts of the world that are totally unreached. Our urgency is so that people do not have to experience eternal torment,
right?
Eternal conscious separation from God.
Was it Rogan that said something like, I think I remember hearing a clip from him. I was like, hey, if believers, if Christians really do believe that, that I'm going to go to hell, like, why am I not sensing more urgency? Like if that is a place they believe I'm going to go to, like, man, shouldn't, like, to your point, what you're saying is like, man, yes, we want them to be in eternity with Christ, but also we also want to make sure that they don't end up in eternity in hell.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So,
Yeah, I just when somebody says, I just think it aligns with the character of God. I just feels like God wouldn't be like mean like that. And I know I'm kind of overly paraphrasing what he said. But it's the stance. The stance is like God wouldn't do that. It's just. I don't know how you can then look at Ananias and Sapphira, the earth opening up. This is New Testament.
right.
The earth opening up, swallowing these people who disobeyed the Holy Spirit.
Yep.
It's like, well, God wouldn't do that. He's not and it's like, that's not a fake story that actually happened.
It's a dangerous precedence, and we've seen that, right? We see that oftentimes even in social media. I mean, Kirk Cameron's not the first one. He won't be the last one who will say something like this, but I think that's why it's very important for us not only to know what Scripture says and what it's intended to say, but that, again, we just are steadfast in what we believe, and regardless of our own personal preferences. Because that's usually what it comes down to. It's like, well, I just don't think God would be capable of that. Well, we don't get to decide that, you know? And so I think that precedence is very dangerous, and I think it's really, really valuable for a believer to, a Christian to say, you know what, like, let me learn about this, right? Let me understand this, so that the next time I hear a clip like this online, or someone else, another influencer, celebrity, whoever it may be, like, I'm better prepared to know, like, hey, what is my biblical worldview on this specific thing?
Yeah.
So
I believe annihilationism dilutes the work that Jesus did on the cross. And if he defeated death, hell, the grave, there's an urgency to his mission, not just because he wanted to spend eternity, but because he wanted his children to not spend eternity in hell.
Yes.
And I just don't want to dilute ever the work of Jesus Christ on the cross and his saving power. And it's why we are urgent to get the message out. Like, people need to give their lives to Jesus so they can avoid hell eternally and be with Jesus forever in heaven forever. So, yeah. I think we could have future conversations around that, especially when Logan gets back, because I guarantee you he's got a well thought out response to that.
Yeah.
And we'll get it. But anything else? Anything else from you, man? We're at hour 7. We did great.
Hour 7. Anything else? No. Man, I'm just glad to be on here.
Yo, thanks for being back.
Yeah.
Vest Bros.
Vest Bros right over there. So
thanks, sis.
Thanks, Ellie. Ellie's got a mic now, so that's
crazy.
That's it.
Yeah,
that's
you did
exciting.
a great job on here. Awesome. Appreciate everybody. Thanks for being here. I'm gonna close in prayer and we'll get out. Lord, we thank you for this time together. And I'm just gonna focus this prayer right now on Christmas. There are people all around us that need the truth, the message of Jesus Christ, so they can avoid hell and be with you forever in heaven and in heaven forever and ever and ever. Lord, I just pray right now that we'd get courage. You would embolden the church to get the invite out there, genuine, heartfelt invites. Would you come to church with me to hear the message of Jesus? Right. Lord, I just pray that people would respond and say yes. And we'd see in our church and every other Bible-believing church that's going to tell the truth of the gospel message of Jesus, we just see record attendance, people showing up like never before, and decisions for Christ like never before, Lord, this Christmas season. I just pray that somebody would determine in their heart right now that they're like, I'm getting more bold this year than ever before, and I'm going to invite more people than ever before. I'm going to bring the neighborhood. I'm going to bring the crew. I'm going to bring the workplace. We're going to see people saved like never before, Lord. Let it happen by your Holy Spirit and by your power. In Jesus' name, everybody said,
Amen.
Amen.